Good morning, everyone!
Hello, and welcome to the show. We are halfway through the week. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Let's get you up to speed with some news that you could use right now.
Rise and shine, beautiful people. I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Let's get through this Hump Day Wednesday with a dose of laughter, good vibes, and unstoppable energy.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. Your mornings are always more fun with us. Join us in the next hour and a half for stories and conversations that matter. So this morning, one of our guests, unfortunately, we don't have the animal counterpart, but we have the human counterpart.
Yes, someone from the DENR. And I'm excited to have that interview with him because let's ask him, ano ba talaga tunog ng eagle?
Well, you know, for those wondering, this show is for the birds. Okay, that is because we're gonna have a bit more updates on Riley.
On Riley, yeah.
Check number something.
Check number something naman siya
31.
talaga.
31 ata siya.
But he's the only one that's out
born
of captivity.
unassisted. Born unassisted,
yes.
in captivity, which is always a first. And of course, it's going to be super interesting kasi, syempre, we were heartbroken the last time.
Yeah.
Check number 30.
Yeah, who did not, unfortunately, survive long. But yeah, hopefully
I
we
wish
can
you could
hear
bring
more.
the eagle, but I know that's not allowed.
Pictures
so
lang.
cute. I know.
Yes.
No,
Show and tell.
when it's
You
old
have to
enough
go
to fly.
there and visit.
Actually,
When it's old enough to
yes.
fly here, maybe we can.
Yeah.
Galing Davao lang naman. But then,
That's only an hour flight.
Parang
Well-
sa wedding, yung lumilipad sa loob ng
mga falcon, parang ginawang falcon lang. Oo. No, but it should be really, really interesting. Of course, we are also DENR is also here to talk about deforestation.
Okay.
So it's Davao Eagle Foundation later on, Philippine Eagle Foundation later to talk about Riley. And yeah, just a lot to talk about, especially when it comes to sustainability and nature. It's a type of show of Mo, who's an animal activist.
I know, that's why I
Yes.
wish the eagle was here, but I will visit. It's in Davao, right?
Really, you will.
Yeah.
I will.
Promise.
Hey, I told you I was gonna visit Poshan, did I not? And I went.
Sorry, si
That was Anne.
Si
That's
Anne
not
pala yung
me.
panay drawing lang.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay,
When I say
tama.
it, I will do
Okay,
it.
sige. Noted. All right. And on that note, I'll let Anne talk now.
drawing, grabe.
It just hit her now. She's so
Okay.
quiet. She's so wait lang.
I was absorbing all that bullying. And I'm like, what? Drawing? But anyway, guys, we have a jam-packed show for you today, so please stick around. And we begin with our national stories this morning. The Marcos administration denies wanting to erase the EDSA revolution from history. Palace Press Officer and PCO Undersecretary Claire Castro says President Bongbong Marcos didn't block any commemoration of the People Power, which toppled his father. Castro also defended the president's Special Working Day declaration.
What's the purpose of a special working day? It's to encourage people to join any event kung kanilang kailangang i-commemorate ang isang affair. If there is the intention to erase the memories of EDSA People Power, ibang klaseng pamamaraan ang gagawin. Since the time po na siya ay naging Pangulo, wala po tayong nadinig na anumang pagpapahinto ng anumang events, any activities na maaaring mag-commemorate ng nasabing event.
Castro adds educational institutions were free to cancel their own classes yesterday.
They are given the freedom to do that. Kaya po hindi natin sinasabing ang Pangulo ay humahadlang sa anumang balaki ng anumang organisasyon, universidad, sa kanilang mga gagawing activities.
Vice President Sara Duterte welcomes the Supreme Court's order for the Senate and House of Representatives to comment within 10 days on her petition to dismiss her impeachment case. In a statement, VP Sara's legal, Sheila Sison, says they have complete faith in the Supreme Court as final arbiter of the law. The Vice President wants the fourth impeachment complaint nullified as it violates the law, saying no impeachment complaint shall be filed against some official more than once within 1 year. What will the weather be like today, this Wednesday? Paolo gives us today's forecast from Weather HQ. Go ahead, Pao.
Thanks, Mo. A lot happening today when you take a look at the three weather systems that will bring scattered rainfall and extreme heat across the country. Let's start off first in Luzon. The northeast monsoon is affecting Luzon, which will result in overcast skies with scattered rain showers and possible thunderstorms over the Cagayan Valley, the Cordillera Administrative Region, Aurora, and Quezon. So typically all of these areas right over here. Now, over in Metro Manila and the rest of Luzon, the northeast monsoon will bring partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated light rain showers. Let's go down south to Visayas and Mindanao. The shear line will cause cloudy skies with scattered showers and thunderstorms in the eastern Visayas and northern Mindanao as well as the Caraga region. Now, these areas will experience moderate to heavy rainfall, which could lead to flash floods or landslides. Now, for the rest of Visayas and the other parts of Mindanao, the easterlies will bring cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms. Now, regarding sea conditions, a gale warning is in effect for the northern and western seaboards of northern Luzon, particularly along the eastern coast of Cagayan and Isabela. Let me move over to the side so you can see that area here. Now, northern and western coast of Ilocos Norte is also included in that gale warning. Now, a gale warning is also active for the eastern part of southern Luzon, specifically along the northern and eastern coast of the Catanduanes area. So this area affected right over here. Now, lastly, a gale warning is also in place in the eastern seaboard of the Visayas, especially the northern and eastern coast of northern Samar. Now, mariners in the areas that we mentioned are advised to avoid sailing due to the rough to very rough seas, with wave heights reaching up to 4.5 meters. Back to you, girls.
Thank you so much for that update, Pao. In other news, a petition questioning the legality of PhilHealth's exclusion from the 2025 national budget has been filed before the Supreme Court. That's from health advocacy groups who also protested in front of the Justice Department to speak about the issue. They say the budget should be allocated for free health care for Filipinos. Health reform advocate Dr. Tony Liachon also filed another petition arguing that PhilHealth's zero subsidy violates existing laws on universal health care.
Health advocate Dr. Tony Liachon says the bicameral conference committee that approved the zero subsidy for PhilHealth this year failed to see the real financial status of the agency. Speaking with Agenda, Liachon explains even PhilHealth also lacked transparency on its audit report, reason why he went to the Supreme Court to file a petition for certiorari. I hope I said that correctly. We're struggling this morning. He believes the zero subsidy is unconstitutional and violates the universal health care law.
Kung naaral nila ng PhilHealth at ng Kamara at ng Senado na may COA report na bankrupt na palang PhilHealth, di sana hindi nagbigay sila ng subsidiya na nire-request sa 71 billion. Yun ho yung argumento. So yung spade work, hindi nila ginawa at ang financial statement na pinresent nila ay kulang. Meron pa nga silang utang na 1.1 trillion yung insurance contract liabilities. Ang nilalabas lang nila yung reserve funds. Pero meron pala silang utang at may COA report pala na sila ay bankrupt na.
Malacanang is cracking down on vloggers spreading fake news. That's one of President Bongbong Marcos's orders to the new officials of the Presidential Communications Office. The PCO says it supports any measures to ban fake news due to the increasing misinformation and lies online.
Siguro naman kahit po hindi palasyo ang tanungin natin, gugustuhin po talaga natin na maban ang fake news. And personally, when I was one of the resource persons dito sa TRICOM, I even suggested for a registration of all content creators to avoid this kind of fake news.
Malacanang says there is a need for stronger laws to fight fake news. Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary Claire Castro tells BNC's Agenda existing laws on cyber libel are not enough to pin down those behind fake news.
Kailangan po na may bagong batas. Kumbaga pandagdag lang po, Ms. Corina, dahil meron naman po tayong batas patungkol sa cyber libel. Meron din po tayong batas tungkol sa false news. Pero hindi pa po kasi masyadong hindi pa po to expanded to the point na dapat, let's say, may registration bang kailangan, ano yung mga dapat na implementing rules para makita natin na itong mga fake news vloggers na to ay maaari talagang matanggal o mawala sa isang social media platforms. Yun po dapat talaga ang tutukan ng lawmakers kung paano ito maaayos para hindi na kumalat man yung mga fake news vloggers.
The Sandigan Bayan dismisses another ill-gotten wealth case against the Marcos family. The anti-graft points to the apparent inaction of the prosecution after nearly 4 decades. The case was filed against the parents of President Marcos way back in July 1987. The Sandigan Bayan has previously dismissed several ill-gotten wealth cases against the Marcoses. It cites the, quote, unreasonable delay in presenting evidence of the Presidential Commission on Good Government and the Office of Solicitor General.
SMC Infrastructure stresses the need to implement a cashless toll collection after the new DOTR chief suspended its implementation. SMC says without a uniform cashless system, seamless integration between different toll operators cannot be fully realized. The operator adds it has been working closely with the government for the past 5 years to enhance the tolling experience for motorists. A key part of that effort, it says, has been ensuring full interoperability among ETC systems across expressways. Secretary Vince Dizon suspended the cashless toll policy last week, describing it as anti-poor.
In world news, the Vatican says Pope Francis remains in critical condition for the 4th day running, but is stable and has not had any further respiratory crises. The 88-year-old Pope is now on his 12th night at Rome's Gemelli Hospital, battling double pneumonia. An anonymous Vatican official told Reuters on Tuesday the Pope was eating normally, moving about his hospital room, and continuing his treatment. The Vatican also revealed Francis had met his second-in-line, Cardinal Pietro Parolin, on Monday.
The White House banned for the Associated Press stays. That's after a federal judge appointed by U.S. President Donald Trump trashes the news agency's request to retrieve their access to the Oval Office and Air Force One. AP is restricted after it refused to call Gulf of Mexico Gulf of America. After the ruling, the White House said interviewing the POTUS at the Oval Office and the Air Force One is a privilege and not a legal right.
In the NBA, all eyes are on the Los Angeles Lakers and Dallas Mavericks as they clash for the first time since this month's blockbuster trade. The Lakers host the Mavs in Hollywood later at 11 a.m. Philippine time. Luka Doncic is expected to play, facing his former team after spending 7 seasons in Dallas. The Lakers are looking to win 3 straight after back-to-back road victories against Denver and Portland. The Mavs, on the other hand, are determined to bounce back after losing its latest assignment against the Warriors. The Lakers and the Mavs will face off again on April 10, this time in Dallas. This will be Luka Doncic's first game back in Texas since the trade. Now from the hard court, let's go to the pitch. Cristiano Ronaldo has his fans all saying, "See!" and he's inching closer towards a career milestone. The 40-year-old Portuguese superstar scored his 925th career goal in Al Nassr's 2-0 victory over Al Weda in the Saudi Pro League. This is Ronaldo's 17th goal of the current league campaign. The 5-time Ballon d'Or winner is now just 75 short of amassing a total of 1,000 official goals across his career. The victory moves Al Nassr up to 3rd place in the Saudi Pro League with 47 points.
Now in entertainment, over 1,000 musicians, including Kate Bush and Cat Stevens, released a silent album on Tuesday protesting against AI. This following Britain's proposed changes to copyright laws, which would allow tech firms to train artificial intelligence models using their work. The co-written album, titled "Is This What We Want?", featuring empty studios and performance spaces, represent AI's potential impact on artists' livelihood. Creative industries globally are grappling with legal and ethical implications of AI models that can produce their output after being trained after their work without pay.
It is literally Anne's biggest
I was
nightmare.
just going to say, Anne, this is all you.
And they said empty studios, right? Reflecting, they were showing empty studios and no artists there. That is exactly what's going to happen when you let AI take over the creative industry.
But I feel like AI is not there to take over, though. Like, people are using it to cut jobs because I think it is cheaper. But I think AI is just really there as an assist, right? We've talked about this before.
Yeah, we've talked about that. But in terms of, construction or maybe medicine, modern medicine, they can be assisting the doctors, assisting the construction workers, right? But in the creative industry, they are actually replacing the voices.
I know, which shouldn't be.
There you go.
Yeah,
So it's the livelihood of these creative artists that's in peril because of AI.
Yeah, and it's a pivot where everyone has to adapt in general. I mean, it's always going to be difficult, especially because it's easier to train AI. It's cheaper.
Yeah.
And for certain businesses who don't have the budget to hire someone, possibly this is the better way. So I mean, I obviously all the sympathy is there for the actual people, talent, right?
Yes,
But at the same time, there has to be a way to adapt, because I don't think there's anything stopping the AI train.
That's the thing. Like, I feel
Right?
like there should be laws in place. Like,
Exactly.
AI can only do
There.
until here,
Yeah.
but you can't
Yeah.
take away their jobs. I don't know. I feel like we should discuss
Yeah, it's
that
a bit
later
of a
on.
gray. It's a lot of a gray area.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot of gray area because I think that it's always going to be tough and difficult. And either way, I feel like this is how people felt when computers came about for the first time, and then they replaced certain jobs. I mean,
Yes.
especially, could you imagine studying to be a typist all your life and all of a sudden wala ka ng trabaho?
Right.
It makes, AI makes life easier for us, but at the same time, there's that threat of taking away people's livelihood. So there should be laws, like what you said, there should be laws that would regulate of AI. And adaptability, yes, that's also something that we as creative artists talk about, right? We have to adapt. And also at the same time, our rights need to be protected.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a
AI is
long
up and coming,
conversation.
so this will pop up again.
Yes,
so we need
definitely.
to be ready to talk about it. But speaking of, we're still on entertainment because we got some Drizzy and K-Dot update. Drake cools down Kendrick Lamar's red-hot momentum on the music charts. Drizzy's latest album with producer Party Next Door, Some Sexy Songs for You, debuts on top of the Billboard 200 charts, ending the 13-week reign of K-Dot's Smash 6 album, GNX. Billboard reports Some Sexy Songs for You is the Canadian rapper's 14th chart-topping album, tying him with Jay-Z and Taylor Swift for the most #1 hit records in its nearly 7-decade history. Only the Beatles have more than 19, or more with 19 actually. Wow, Drizzy's coming back.
You said you got to listen to his
And I
album,
did get to
right?
listen to it.
Yeah,
That's why I said I'm actually impressed, because it sounds like the old Drake.
yeah.
So I like it, and I love Party Next Door. So just them two together, they've collabed before, and it sounds great.
To be fair, we have never ever said that Drake doesn't make good music.
Yeah, actually, we've never
We've
said
never
that.
ever said
Yeah,
that.
never.
But we've always said that Kendrick kind of did destroy him in that little
Super Bowl.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Super Bowl and
Performance.
their beef, their little rivalry. I mean, especially when they were releasing tracks almost literally hours between each other. I mean, it was a fun time.
It
But,
was, and I
yeah.
love them both, so I can't pick because I'm such a Drake
Yeah.
fan, but I do love Kendrick, so there's no beef.
But
Yeah.
I'm
I
glad
love
that
them
he
both.
went
For the
back
music,
to his
yeah.
old style, the old Drake, the slow songs.
Did you listen to it?
Not yet. That's why I'm excited to
She
listen
said she
to
would.
that.
Ayan na naman. What did you say kanina? She's forever what? Writing?
Panay drawing lang.
I
Punong
remember
drawing.
you said that he went back to his old style, right? He's playing
And
old
you said you
songs.
were gonna
And
listen to it.
I was, but I wasn't able to. But I remember on Wave when I was still working with this radio station,
Yeah.
we played the old Drake songs, and that's actually what I liked. the
I'm
old
actually
style.
interested to see which Drake song pops up from this one. Do you have any bets for
I don't
this
know. I
album?
like them all, honestly.
really?
Most of
Okay.
them I like. So we'll see. I want to see what people say and what they prefer.
Yeah,
So,
I'll
Anne,
try
tell-
listening to it later, and I'll actually listen to it.
Oh, I know you will. And my assignment got tomorrow. Let
Yes,
me know.
I will. I will, definitely. But guys, up next, they say marriage is not easy. It requires compromise, sacrifice, and work. When we return, we speak with a family and marriage therapist to talk about the benefits of couples therapy. Don't go away. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. At times when strong emotions get in the way, it helps to have guidance on making informed decisions inside a marriage. But have you ever considered that the better advice could come not from relatives and friends, but from a licensed marriage therapist? We are joined this morning by marriage and family therapist, Dr. Angelo Base. It's a beautiful day. Doc Angelo, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. I was going to ask, how many years have you been in practice? And when you talk about marriage therapy, it isn't something that, Filipinos have fully embraced, right?
Yes,
Why is that so?
We've been in this practice for 12 years now. And most Filipinos do not actually seek help when it comes to their private matters.
Right.
So, pero most of the people who can pay, who can afford, those are the ones coming to us. Yeah.
When you mentioned about paid, Doc, how much does it normally cost for couples therapy?
We have different packages actually. So there are some couples who only come for a day. They don't want to come back anymore. Yeah.
Bakit? May away ba during marriage therapy or?
Yeah, merong emotions pa involved
Yeah.
on the first day. But if they stayed, we are willing to talk about the solutions. We even talk about it for 5 hours. Maabot kami ng 5 to 6 hours sometimes. If they don't want to come back and because of their busy schedule.
Right.
Yeah, some of them naman 1 or 2 hours lang, then they will choose to come back again, reschedule.
You know how in movies, pagka nakaharap sila sa therapist nila, the couple, and then they fight each
Yeah.
other
Yes.
during the first few sessions? I think that is what really happens.
Yes,
Right?
because those are unresolved issues, stored. you know,
Yes,
stored
yes.
subconsciously, na hindi na na-discuss, hindi na pag-usapan, tinutulugan. Yeah.
Well, you've done this for 12 years. That's longer than some marriages. You take a look at the body of work that you've been doing. Are we seeing any trend siguro? Dumadami ba yung mga nagpapa-therapy? I know mental health in general has been more openly talked about issue.
Yes.
Kapag personal,
Yes.
people are less afraid to see therapists,
Yes.
mental health experts. Pero pagdating sa marriage, when it's a couple or partnership, do you feel that it's more open today or that hasn't really changed?
Very open when the pandemic struck to all of us.
Yeah.
Ang daming tumawag sa office. Pinupuntahan namin, even lockdown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, simula nun, natuto na yung tao. Kasi nakakulong sila sa bahay, they don't know how to fix it themselves inside. Habang nagtatagal sila sa loob ng tahanan nila na hindi na-resolve yung dispute, umiinit lalo yung kanilang sitwasyon. Yung mga words against each other, yung mga treatment sa children affected. Kaya natututo na silang tumawag. Yeah.
In the 12 years you've been doing this, Doc, have you seen any patterns, like themes of the most common problems most couples face?
Yes. The common problems is, this is my right. I have the right to be happy. Hindi niya alam na yung right to be happy, sa asawa niya, hindi niya tuloy maibigay. Because ang mentality niya laging, ako to, I need to be happy, I need to be supplied with what I need. Ganun lagi yung mentality. Ang problem, the other party also thinks that way.
Yeah.
I also need this right, I also need this right. Eventually, merong gap sa gitna.
Right.
Because walang nagsusupply ng dapat matanggap ng bawat isa because the mentality is wrong.
From your experience with your clients, can you share with us maybe some testimonies that couple therapy really does work?
Yeah, there was this couple. The husband is a foreigner. The wife is a Filipina. hindi alam nung foreigner yung gusto ng wife niya.
Okay.
When his wife told him, I need annulment, sabi niya gano'n. Siya mismo yung nagpunta, the husband, to seek annulment. Sabi ko, hindi na ito naiintindihan yung sinasabi ng wife niya. Asian foreigner. So, sabi ko, that's not what you need. Hindi annulment ang kailangan niya.
Okay.
So, I called the wife, nausap ko. Then, suddenly, nagkaayos sila. A few sessions, pero the husband is willing to talk every month eh. So, may schedule kami. Then now, the wife got pregnant na.
okay.
She got pregnant na.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
And another case, merong wife na pumunta sa office without any appointment, crying, and makikita mo, parang crying overnight eh. When in that instance, sabi ko, they really need help. So, pinausap ko. We talked for about 6 hours.
A long time.
Yeah, for 6 hours.
You have
in
a
the
lot of
office.
time, Doc, huh?
Yes. Because this is our advocacy.
Yes.
Advocacy namin to because we saw the ignorance. There are so many relationship books written, and they all say one thing, which is supplying the love and supplying the respect to the other party. Scientifically proven na yan eh. So, this is about ignorance. Kaya if we push this education to every marrying couples, madali ang relationship eh. Because you know what your spouse needs on a daily basis. It's actually a daily basis to need love. It's actually on a daily basis to need respect from your spouse. Yun ang nakakalimutan. Kasi isang beses mo lang din magawa, the next day, magiging habitual na eh.
Right, right.
Kaya require yun, araw-araw gawin mo eh. You respect your husband, you love your wife, even yung pag-seek ng affection, even yung pagpapaalam.
Doc, when do you think is appropriate time for a couple to finally decide, okay, we need to see a marriage therapist na? Is there a certain moment na feeling mo, okay, once this happens, go consult?
When the arguments last for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, sometimes a week. When you are arguing on a daily basis already, it's very stressful. You cannot work normally, di ba? Hindi ka makatrabaho ng maayos. So that's the time when they seek a therapy. Sometimes, sobrang busy sila, hindi may schedule. The arguments continues even until sa paghiga, pagtulog sa gabi.
Okay.
So it's a very stressful life. Not seeing one or both of you calming down or being humble enough to accept we have a problem. We need a professional to fix this. Kasi nga, pag professional yung kinonsult, hindi ka matatakot sabihin yung private information niya because the professional therapist is hindi kayo kilala eh. Hindi kayo i-judge.
Yes.
Di ba? Kaya natutunan din namin not to judge them. Pag nag-seek help, ibig sabihin, they are humble enough to admit one of them has a mistake.
I like that, yung humility.
Yeah.
Kailangan
Yeah.
humble enough to
Yes.
go and seek help.
You know, Doc, marriage is very sacred, especially here in the Philippines. We are a Catholic country,
Yes.
and marriage is forever,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's for keeps. And when your clients go to you, you really make sure that they work things out and everything works out in the end. But
Yes.
are there certain situations where you already suggest, maybe like throwing in the towel, giving up already? Meron bang ganong situation?
We had, yes. When one of them has a reservations already, yung bang hindi na siya nag-focus to fixing it, but finding another person as confidante, as someone na nakalabas na yung problema.
Okay.
So alam na nung third party yung issue nila. And mostly, itong third party na to yung sumasalo. Kung hindi siya nakakatanggap ng love, respect sa bahay, this third party na
Right.
he or she confided in, siya ang nagsusupply ng love and respect na hinahanap niya sa tahanan, sa bahay niya. Ayun. We have a lot of cases like that. Kaya nakikita na namin, pag nag-invest na siya ng time, attention doon sa third party, mahirap na.
Yeah.
We just give them time to fix it and asking the other party or not guilty spouse to come back all the time, what to do, how to regain or his self-love.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
When we talk about sessions, typically it's not a one-time, you're done, right? So most
Yes.
couples that do the therapy, how many sessions do they normally do or do you recommend? I know it's a per-case basis, but what's the range?
The range would be 5 to 6 sessions.
Okay.
Yes.
Di naman 6 hours.
Hindi naman.
Six
Okay.
hours
Yeah.
session.
Yeah.
Depende sa problema.
Oo. Kasi when the other party really don't believe no, in the therapy sessions, mahirap. Mahirap kasi kung minsan nga, there was a couple na 50 years old na, no? Both of them, mga past 50. Muntik na magbarilan sa bahay.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, silang dalawa lang nandun
Wow.
sa bahay. Tapos sabi nung husband, wife, "Sir, be strong, ha?" Uy, sabi ko, bakit naman? Muntik na akong barilin kanina ng husband ko, sabi niya.
Kanina. That's
Yes,
the
sabi
day.
niya gano'n,
Wow.
yeah. Tapos, meron ng pastor na naunang pumunta, but the problem was not resolved.
Okay.
So, be strong, sir, sabi niya. Then, kinausap ko yung husband. Kasi yung sabi ng husband, bubulahin lang tayo ng mga yan. Bubulahin lang tayo. So, nung kinausap ko na sila, una muna si wife, na nakikinig din si husband habang nakahiga eh. Then, may tumayo na si husband. Then, joined the session. Naging fruitful naman. And they even invited us later to go to the resort.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Maganda naman yung resort.
Ganda.
Okay. Siyempre, yun yung yan yung concern ko. No.
May question ako kay Doc Angelo kasi medyo serious tayo so just to break the ice, I guess. Because last night, I watched the movie XX Lovers ni Marvin Agustin and Jolina Magdangal.
Yeah.
So there's a storyline there na they're gonna get married, but the in-laws, they keep on butting in. And I think that is probably one of the problems that your clients, married couples here in the Philippines face, yung involvement ng parents in the
Yeah.
marriage. Kasi syempre, we're such ang Pilipino ganun pamilya, we're so tight-knit and everybody's like involved and may extended
Yeah.
family members pa na nakikialam sa
You
sa
don't have a
marriage,
problem
right?
with in-laws naman.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm actually
paano yan?
very lucky person. I'm actually very lucky kasi I don't have any in-law
And we'll go so you
problems.
can have a session with Doc.
No, but when I watched that movie, naalala ko to na isa yun talaga sa mga problems that most married Filipino couples face, no? So how can they, what's your advice? How can they, take control of their marriage and not listen to external forces like parents, in-laws, other extended family members, but at the same time without being disrespectful?
Okay.
Yeah.
There is a deeper reason why parents are becoming like that. Number one theory there is the marrying person is the breadwinner. Usually breadwinner siya.
Okay.
So, hati na yung attention when he forms a family.
Yes.
Hati na eh. So,
Oo.
pwedeng mawala dahan-dahan yung support. Financial,
yes,
moral,
yes.
attention, everything. The second reason there is alam ng parents na hindi pa ready yung anak nila to get married. They know from their heart, hindi pa ready itong anak namin, biglaan lang. May nabuntis or nakabuntis or something. So, those are the factors na pwede natin i-consider.
Okay.
Why it's happening. Meron pang mas malalim na reason.
Yeah.
Oo, na alam ng parents. Only them would know. Now,
Go ahead.
para mapigilan yung ganon, magkaroon ng heart-to-heart talk muna with the parents. Yung bang, wala na siyang choice, hindi na siya maka-atras. He or she has to talk to his parents para mas malinaw yung separation from the parents to getting married,
Yeah.
forming
Yeah.
a separate or his new family. Kailangan mapag-usapan.
Doc,
Yeah.
heavy topics, how do you win the trust of yung mga patients mo?
We have to be an example also. We
Okay.
have to be a living example of what we teach, what we advise. Kaya, my wife is here to support me.
Ma'am, tama ba? Lahat ng sinasabi mo? Okay, just making sure. Naka-thumbs up po
Thumbs up
siya.
siya, yes.
For those wondering. Opo.
Yan, kailangan we live by what we teach.
Right.
Importante yun. So, nakikita naman din kami, we are public people. We also show our family whenever we go out. Yung ganon. Kailangan mag-upisa muna sa amin.
Right.
Yung good example.
And Doc, you brought your book here with you. Can you talk more about this? So for our viewers who are interested in seeking help, obviously they can talk to
Yeah.
you, but is this book a great
Yes.
read as well?
Of course.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. I titled this Tamang Guide sa Pakikipaghiwalay o Pag-preserve ng Marriage. It is a fact that marriage is not for everybody.
Yes.
And even sa umpisa pa lang, malalaman mo may mga red flags ka makikita before signing the marriage contract. If you ignore that, that red flags will continue to flourish
Okay.
inside your marriage.
That's so interesting, Doc, because we've talked about marriage itself, but I want to talk before marriage rin.
Yes.
I don't know kung spoiler to sa book mo, pero ano mga red flags
Right.
before marriage?
Pag ang party, puro sarili lang niya iniisip niya. All about himself, all about his personal goals. And most of the time, unfinished business niya yun Pag dinala niya yan sa marriage, ang focus or mentality niya, nakafocus lang dun sa unfinished business niya.
Okay.
Pag hindi pa siya sawa sa pagkabinata or pagkadalaga, dala-dala niya yun hanggang marriage. And she will or he will always insist, this is my right. That's like what I've said kanina. This is my right to be happy. This is my right to enjoy life.
Okay.
Yeah, the problem starts from that moment na red flag na yun Dapat ang naririnig mo sa pakakasalan mo, yung, ay gusto ko gawin natin to together.
Yeah.
Ay nakikita ko to, maganda to pagka pinagtulungan natin. Dapat ganun yung naririnig mong mentality.
When you live as two instead of as one.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, makes sense. Maraming salamat, Doc. We, for those who want to reach out to you and actually consult you, and
Or get a copy of the book.
Or get a copy of
Yep.
the book, how can they reach you?
Yeah, they can call our office at 8800-3368 or mobile phone 0918-4356-873.
And where's your office, Doc?
Kalanan, Makati.
Okay.
Well,
So
thank
for
you
those
so
in
much.
Makati, go check out Doc and get his book as well.
Yes.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you rin po.
Doc Angelo, ladies and gentlemen, marriage and family therapist, Dr. Angelo Base.
Don't go away, guys, because my favorite, we're talking about animals. The Philippine Eagle Foundation welcomes an eaglet that was hatched without human assistance. The foundation will join us live to talk about this after the break, and we'll actually find out what an eagle sounds like after the break as well. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. A milestone for the Philippine Eagle Foundation welcoming a new eaglet that was hatched naturally without human assistance. What does Riley or chick number 31 mean for the ongoing efforts to save the critically endangered species? Let's find out, because Dr. Jayson Ibañez, the Philippine Eagle Foundation's Director for Operations, now joins us live via Zoom from Davao. It's a beautiful day, Dr. Jayson. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, indeed, it's a beautiful day, and thanks for having me.
Of course,
Morning.
glad to have you. So, Doc, Riley is the first ever Philippine eagle to hatch unassisted in captivity. Tell us, how significant is this milestone for the foundation and conservation efforts?
Well, this is really a big break for the conservation breeding program. The new facility, the National Bird Breeding Sanctuary, it started only last year in February. And now, barely a year later, we have the first live captive bred eaglet produced from that facility. So this gives us hope that the new facility is really very appropriate for the species, and we're anticipating more eaglets that will be bred from this new facility that's nestled at the foot of Mount Apo. So we're all very excited. We think that this is the start of a string of successful hatching, and hopefully next year, if we have additional birds, then perhaps we can also attempt the first release of captive bred birds to the wild.
Doc, first of all, na-distract ako sa background mo. I had to double check kung totoo yung eagle doon sa shoulder mo. But of course, when you take a look at the key factors that led to this successful hatching, because there was a successful hatching last time. Unfortunately, that chick did not survive long. What is different about this procedure, this process, and what can we do to ensure na si Riley will have a long and healthy life?
Yes, well, unfortunately, with the first hatching that we had last year, nagkaroon ng infection ang young bird. And we think the bird also had some congenital issues. No? Kaya hindi normal yung growth rate niya. In fact, very slow yung weight progress ng bird. But this time, we're very happy because very normal yung development ng chick natin. Again, the hatching was unassisted. Ibig sabihin walang human intervention or human assistance. The chick hatched by its own, by itself, just like your chicks in the wild. They don't get any help from the parents. And then looking at the weight progress, no, very normal. No? Yung graph ng kanyang weight gain is within the normal range. Similar successfully hatched eagles like Pag-asa, Pagkakaisa, and others. So we really think that the new breeding facility is really working for the benefit of our national bird. No? The new breeding facility is very much isolated. We don't accept visitors. It's relatively far from houses and human habitations. And it's also nestled, again, at the foot of Mount Apo, which is a natural Philippine eagle habitat. So the Philippine eagle photo in my background is actually a female eagle. Her name is Philippine Eagle Sinabadan. We've been monitoring her. Okay. And this nesting territory, wild nesting territory, is the neighbor of the new breeding facility. So we're very happy kasi yung assumptions namin na yun nga, if we transfer the birds to the right place, the right environment, magiging productive sila, and we're excited for yung prospects of hatching more eagles that eventually can be released back to the wild.
Doc, were there any unexpected challenges or surprises during Riley's first few days?
Yes, well, I think a challenge would be the fact that when the egg was laid and our team from the center looked at the egg, inspected it as part of the protocol, may mga pores or butas siya. So apparently, they were saying during our Zoom conference na may mga small holes doon sa shell. And so what the team did was to do emergency procedures by applying yung patch doon sa mga pores na to. And that worked apparently, no? So that's one of the challenges. But again, we have standard procedures or protocols to address that. And apparently that worked. We had a very successful hatching. And after that, I think it was smooth sailing. Although we were very much guarded, the team really implemented strict biosecurity protocols. No? We've modified yung biosecurity protocols natin. We established a new hatching and rearing facility, no, inside the sanctuary, funded by a donor. And so we think that all of this, no, yung guarded protocols, and then a new building for incubation and rearing, and then of course yung patience and diligence ng mga animal keepers natin, mga experts natin, to really monitor yung progress ng egg and the chick contributed to that success.
Yeah, Doc.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Mo.
I was just going to say congrats to you and your team for this being so successful. I'm just curious to know, what are the next steps to Riley's development? So hopefully one day I can go visit if allowed.
No visitors nga eh.
Kaya that's why I said if allowed one day.
Well, we're very excited because again, Riley is growing so fast. They had to transfer the bird to the eaglet to a new and a bigger nests. And then the bird is already getting its daily sunbats, which is very important. The
cute.
team using again strict protocols, nilalabas nila si Eaglet Riley to get his sun rays, and then eventually the bird will be mentored by an adult Philippine Eagle. So he or slash she can learn the ways of being a proper eagle. But we're intending Riley to become one of our breeding birds. But if we get another eaglet next year from the same parents, then the plan is to perhaps release this bird back to the wild. So while Riley would be a representative of her bloodline in captivity, then we're hoping that his or her siblings can be released back to the wild, where
Okay.
he can become a pioneer eagle for the wild population.
Doc, you mentioned the parents. I actually want to ask about that. In nature, in the wild, ano pong role nila when it comes to the growth of a young chick? And of course, dito in captivity, how different is that, especially sa breeding program na to, and why are the differences made that way?
Right. Well, in the wild, of course, our eagles exist as monogamous pairs, and they play their unique roles. Now, for instance, the female is responsible for most of incubation and feeding of the chick for the first 2 months, while the role of the eagle dad is to look for food and nourish and nurture the female as well as the chick. So make clear division of roles, which is really very interesting. You know, we always think of the Philippine eagles as fierce predators, killing machines, but whenever they have a chick, whenever they have an egg, they become tender parents, and we can all relate to that. No, so but in captivity, in the case of Riley, the chick was hatched through cooperative artificial insemination. So that means the female eagle is imprinted to a animal keeper, and the female eagle also the same. And then the egg was fertilized through artificial insemination. So the semen transferred to the female, and then with respect to rearing the chick, taking care of the chick, it's basically the job of the animal keeper. So it's a major difference. But you know, but that's intended for if an animal keeper takes care of a chick, and then he or she wants to imprint the bird to him or her, the intention for the eaglet is to become a breeder in captivity. But if we want to release the bird back to the wild, then that's when we implement a different protocol, which is yung human isolation. Dapat yung chick mo, when you raise it, wala siyang makita tao. People should not be feeding the bird.
Yeah.
But we will do mentoring and perhaps foster parenting. Meaning magre-raise ng chick would be an eagle, so that when you release the birds, hahanapin niya yung the right kind of species as his or
Doc
her.
Jayson, you mentioned if Riley will get siblings, possible i-release itong mga siblings sa wild, right? Once they are released, what steps do you take or will you take to ensure that they are safe and they will thrive in the wild?
Right. Well, it's very important that the habitat where you will release the bird should be vacant, meaning walang current population of Philippine eagles. So you call that reintroduction. So we have sites already. We're doing releases in Leyte Island, where we think Philippine eagles have been decimated by Super Typhoon Yolanda. So I don't know if you've heard of the release that we did last year.
Yeah.
We released Philippine eagle Carlito and Uswag. Unfortunately, we lost Uswag to natural causes, pero Carlito is thriving well.
Okay.
And the goal is to release future captive bred birds also to Leyte, because we need to release at least 16 birds, to establish a breeding population, a founder population. So, of course, we need the commitment of local governments, of communities, of all stakeholders of the release site to protect the habitat and also prevent shooting and hunting of the released birds. So that's part of our conservation program. We're now heavily invested on working with people, creating pride, and developing ownership of the and accountability to the release birds. And also, before releasing the bird for captive bred birds, no, kailangan proper yung rearing mo din. Ano? Again, hindi dapat siya ma-imprint sa tao. It should be printed in isolation.
Yeah.
It should be printed to the right species. We have protocols for that before you can release the bird. And we're attaching GPS trackers, no?
Okay.
Tracking devices, so that we know where they go whenever we release them, follow them actively, and then make sure na if they're in a relatively threatened habitat, meaning they're close to villages, no, our education team would go to the village and tell them that there's an eagle visiting their place, and then get their help with protecting the bird. So it's a group of activities, holistic approaches in order to ensure that a release would be successful.
Doc, can you give us an update? Because I read, correct me if I'm wrong, that there are currently less than 400 Philippine eagles. Do we see that number going up anytime soon? And because I'm interested to see how, I hope like it's gonna rise eventually.
Right, yeah. Well, so the estimate for the population is 392 pairs. But again, this is just an estimate. But we're trying our best to find as many nesting sites as possible, nesting territory, because yun yung unit ng population census mo. In terms of increasing the population, that's what we want to do by doing these releases. What we want to do is transfer young birds from Mindanao, Samar, to vacant places in Leyte and Luzon. And then by doing that, you're increasing the chances of these young birds surviving, and that's how you increase the population numbers.
Doc, sorry, I hate to cut you off because we're running out of time in just a bit, and I have a few really dumb questions. But then
It's
first,
not dumb.
It's not dumb at
There's
all.
no dumb
We're
questions.
curious.
you don't even know what my questions are yet. First of all, unang-una, mabuti lang, it really makes sense sa monogamous yung Philippine Eagle kasi wala naman divorce sa Pilipinas eh.
Wala.
So they're always together. And then another one
Okay,
another one is bakit Riley po yung pangalan? Why was the name Riley given?
Yes, well, so sorry, I didn't get the first question.
No, it wasn't a question po. It was just a very bad joke about divorce in the Philippines.
Ignore na po
And
yan.
very
Let's
monogamous
ignore
yung mga
that.
Philippine Eagle
Just pretend
natin.
to laugh, Doc.
But
But why Riley,
though?
Yes.
Riley, well, that's the name given by the bird's adopter. So we have this Adopt an Eagle program.
Oh.
So for those who would adopt an eagle, you have the right or entitlement to give the name to the bird. Opo. So Riley is a
We
special
have to do an It's a Beautiful Day sponsorship.
Ang haba ng pangalan ng It's a Beautiful Day na
IADB.
eagle. But
IADB.
Doc, last one, most important one, ano
Yes.
po ang sound ng isang Philippine Eagle?
Okay, so sound of Philippine Eagle. It's a melodious call.
Okay.
Adult bird, something like this.
Hindi
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Huh?
Hindi
that's
kaya
a
nag-zoom.
temporary
Oh
call.
no.
Hindi kaya nag-zoom, Doc. Oh, I'm so disappointed. Kasi
Very unique.
we're going to
Ganun
go.
ba?
No, that's an owl.
Hindi ginagaya ko yung mouth ni Doc eh.
I don't think it works that way eh. Kasi akala niya crow eh. Crow sound eh.
Akala ko ganun, Doc eh.
Sorry, Doc. Ignore her today.
Doc,
She had
but-
one
Doc
too many
is fully
coffee.
entertained.
Thank you so much for being here. We cannot wait to hear more about Riley and of course the rest of your efforts. Again, thank you for joining us, Dr. Jayson Ibañez, the Philippine Eagle Foundation's Director for Operations. Maraming salamat po and good luck for the rest of your efforts.
Yes, thank you and more power to your show.
All right, so we got lucky with that interview. So we're gonna ask you, how's your luck shaping up today? Find out for Feng Shui Master Hans Kua in our horoscope of the day.
Good morning! It's a beautiful day with me, Master Hans Kua. Ito na po ang horoscope for the day para sa araw ng Miyerkules, February 26. Para sa mga pinanganak ng Year of the Rat, magiging matagumpay kung magtitiwala sa iyong kakayahan. Yellow at 9. Sa Ox naman, pag-aralan ang tamang paghawak sa pera para makaiwas sa utang. Green at 1. Kay Tiger naman tayo uminom ng maraming tubig upang manatiling hydrated. Red at 6. Rabbit naman tayo maghanap ng compatible partner para sa collaboration sa negosyo. Blue at 4. Kay Dragon naman magiging mas exciting ang inyong relasyon kung magpaplano kayo ng adventure. Red at 7. Kay Snake naman ang pagmamahal mo sa sarili ay magdudulot ng tamang tao sa buhay mo. Purple at 5. Ito naman kay Year of the Horse, bigyan pansin ang mental health. Mag-meditate araw-araw. Orange at 8. Kay Year of the Ship naman tayo, maglaan ng oras para magpahinga at iwasan ang sobrang trabaho. Gold at 2. Sa Year of the Monkey naman ang pagiging matyaga mo ay magdadala ng tamang timing sa pag-unlad mo. White at 9. Sa Year of the Rooster naman tayo, magiging mas meaningful ang love life mo kung magiging open ka kay partner. Red at 6. Kay Year of the Dog naman tayo, isang bagong koneksyon ang magbibigay ng malaking tulong sa iyong career o negosyo. Green at 1. At sa Year of the Pig naman magplano ng monthly budget para maiwasan ang overspending. Red at 4. Paalala lang, ito po ay gabay patnubay lamang. Ang tunay na swerte ay nagsisimula sa pagiging totoo. Ako po, si Master Hans Kua.
Thank you so much, Master Hans Kua.
We love you. I didn't say anything anymore.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Wala kang sinabi.
That's
Sabi kasi ni Master Hans, kailangan ko raw magpahinga. Oh, rest lang muna.
But so, so what was your reason yesterday? you didn't hear that advice
I was
yesterday.
waiting for you to say something.
Nobody said anything na naman kanina. So I said, okay, we love you, Master Hans. You are the one.
No, but that's the reason. Actually, because of yesterday,
Eto na.
that's why I didn't say anything.
I know.
Right.
I
And
knew that was gonna happen.
You caught up to that.
And
I
Anne
like
still
that.
didn't catch up to it. Drawing pa
course
siya. Forever drawing.
That's so good. But you know what? We talked about the Philippine Eagle Foundation,
Yes.
and we are not done yet talking about nature and, of course, preservation of nature here in the Philippines, because we got more stories for you after the break. The DENR's Forest Management Bureau will join us live in the studio to talk about one of the country's most pressing concerns, deforestation. Stay tuned. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. This is the Weather HQ segment, and with that, we have to talk about deforestation, or the loss of forest cover. It's amongst the major environmental concerns the country is facing today. Let's get an update on the government's efforts to address this. Live with us here in studio is DENR's Forest Management Bureau Assistant Director, Attorney Ray Thomas Kabigting. Magandang umaga. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Paolo. Thank you for
Attorney,
having me.
let's start off first with the fact that it is a pressing issue. Maybe it hasn't been talked about enough, but from the year 2001 to 2022, there has been a 7.6% decrease in total forest cover dito sa Pilipinas. That's around 1.42 million hectares in terms of deforestation. Just how big is this an issue? How big is this a problem? And do you feel that are we doing enough to really address the issue in terms of awareness and, of course, action?
Well, with the decrease that you mentioned, Paolo, we also experienced an increase actually from 2010 to 2020. So from 2010, we started at 6.8 million hectares of forest in the Philippines. And in 2020, our National Mapping Authority was able to map out 7.2 million hectares. So we have increased actually by 5%, although there would be a decrease also, but these offsets each other. In terms of programs that the DNR would have, we still continue our National Greening Program. It will end by 2028. We are expected to have rehabilitated and started rehabilitation actually in more than 1.5 million hectares. But we are now launching the 1.2 million hectares of potential investment areas, which will be available for a number of different investment options in forestry, which includes rehabilitation or reforestation as a business model also.
When you say as a business model, obviously a lot of people, some people do say that, okay, for some businesses to thrive, deforestation is a bit necessary. You see that in certain industries, when it comes to real estate, maybe mining as well. You take a look at all of that. How can reforestation actually be a viable business to investors?
That's a good question, Paolo, because there's this thing that we call the sustainable forest management. So in sustainable forest management, as long as you are able to harvest what you just need based on your business plan and business model, and then make money out of it, and then be able to replant and rehabilitate your area, it is actually a sustainable way of not only rehabilitating your forest areas, but also making money out of it. There are a number of investors right now that are interested in carbon offsets and carbon credit generation. We are also trying to tap into the carbon credit market, both domestically and internationally. We don't have it yet here in the Philippines, but it's been there in the international market worldwide. So there are a lot of options where we can put in reforestation and forest rehabilitation as a viable business model. It's not necessarily just on the extractive side of things.
Yeah.
This 1.2 million hectares for potential investment areas are purely just for forestry. There are separate areas for mining and other investments.
What is the requirement for the Philippines to be able to tap into that carbon credit?
So first of all, we need to have a domestic carbon market, and we need to implement fully the Paris Agreement which we signed in 2015. Just last year in Azerbaijan, in Baku, where the Secretary of Environment and Natural Resources headed the delegation to the Climate Change Conference, a set of rules was already agreed upon by the Conference of Parties on how to implement carbon trading, carbon offsetting between governments. In the Philippines, we are looking at the end of the year to have a viable and a feasible carbon market framework in the country, which would allow everyone, both domestic and foreign investors, to participate in the market and to be able to generate carbon credits here in the country.
You mentioned there is a rate of increase as well for reforestation, but of course I want to focus at the moment on the deforestation and in terms of the causes that are there. We were talking a bit off the air a while ago na, well, bilang sa batang 90s, it felt like when I was younger we were talking a lot about the deterioration of forest cover in the Philippines, the fact that percentage-wise it hasn't been going so well. When you take a look at the leading causes of deforestation today in the country, are they still the same as what we've been hearing in the 90s, 80s, and 70s when it comes to businesses, illegal logging, and of course other factors involved in that?
Well, not necessarily the same as decades past, no? Because in the 70s and in the 60s, we were still a timber-producing country, largely producing timber for export abroad.
Yeah.
But now that we have been dwindling in that market, one of the main issues right now is migration to the forest lands, meaning people are setting up their communities, their residences in the forest lands, which are not really meant to be converted into living spaces. This puts stress to the forest and to the landscape. Also, we have timber poaching that is still prevalent in the country, which we are trying to address and we are trying to minimize. We have been able to minimize our logging hotspots, or where timber poaching is prevalent by some degree.
Yeah.
But we want to put it down to zero. Siguro finally is mismanagement of the areas and lack of land use plans in most of our areas, because people just farm everywhere without considering that this should be maintained as a forest. And then we convert that to grow corn, palay, vegetables, which really disrupts the natural ecosystems and which actually contributes largely to deforestation.
Attorney, we talked a lot about the projects that you had a while ago, and I just want to tell you a quick story of why we decided to invite the DENR. it was because we were brainstorming during Valentine's Day, and we were thinking about what can we do nature-themed and love-themed at the same time. Then nabalitaan po namin na may tree hugging campaign kayo.
Yes, we do.
So
yeah.
it just fit perfectly like a glove. You talk about efforts like that. Can you give us a bit more of a background on that?
Yeah, so the tree hugging campaign, it started in India, in northern India, as a campaign to stop deforestation and the cutting down of trees. It was started in the 70s, actually. But here in the Philippines, the Forest Management Bureau started the campaign in 2022 during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So we thought of a way of how to incorporate advocacy on forest conservation, forest rehabilitation, considering the limitations that we had on mobility at that time. So we had to be isolated. And also, so for mental health as well, because forest bathing, as we call it, or hugging a tree or being exposed to nature, actually helps you mentally.
Yeah.
It boosts your happy hormones and just calms you down. So we put two and two together. It's Valentine's Day. There's a tree hugging movement. Why not do a Valentine's tree hugging campaign? And from 2022, we've had a lot of support. We've had good feedback from the public. We just announced our winners, I think 2 weeks ago. We will be doing it again next year, and until the people want us to do it, we will continue to do so.
I'm excited to see how creative people can get at hugging trees. And I just find it so appropriate that you started during the pandemic when you couldn't hug a person, so you hugged the tree instead.
Yes, yeah.
But of course, looking forward to this, obviously you're reaching out to the youth, the education sector with campaigns like tree hugging. Is there anything else we can look forward to when it comes to DENR to actually promote reforestation and caring for nature apart from tree hugging campaign?
Yeah, so just last week, we had a very productive roundtable discussion with the private sector, with the civil society organizations and the academe on our legacy program, the 3 Million Trees campaign. So we want to be able to plant at least 3 million trees, I'd like to say.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to more by 2028. This is not only planting, but growing these trees, sustaining these trees even beyond 2028. This is something that we want to add on to our national greening program. But this is in close partnership and coordination with the private sector. And most of the private sector partners that we have, they've already committed to help us. And this is something that we'll be launching on March 21st during the International Day of Forests, which the DENR and the Forest Management Bureau spearheads in the country. So watch out for those things. And
perfect. What areas, sorry? What areas will be reforested?
Oh, for the 3 Million Trees campaign, we've chosen 5 provinces: Ilocos Norte, Leyte, Bukidnon, Lanao del Norte, and Rizal. But the other provinces, we're also looking for some potentials there, if there are areas that we can do so.
Attorney, we really appreciate the time that you've given and, of course, all the insights. We really appreciate the efforts that you're doing as well. So hopefully we see a greener Philippines moving forward. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Paula. Thank you.
All right, so that was Attorney Ray Thomas Kabigting of the DENR. Now to hello the global weather. Hikers took advantage of the freezing weather, winter weather rather, to explore rare and potentially dangerous ice caves on the Montartach Glacier in eastern Switzerland. These tunnels are formed by meltwater surging beneath the ice, with warm air expanding the gaps. A tourist from Italy expressed his concern about the glacier's future due to global warming. Switzerland, home to over half of the Alps glaciers, is warming at twice the global average. Experts said that if greenhouse gas emissions rise, these glaciers could lose 80% of their mass by 2100. In winter, the tunnels are accessible, but in summer, they become hazardous due to falling ice and strong water current. During intense heat in Brazil, millions of train passengers are unknowingly exposed to a significant risk. The soaring temperatures, which reach unprecedented levels in 2024, can cause the steel tracks to warp and distort, potentially leading to derailments. This hidden danger becomes particularly concerning during prolonged heat waves when the rails can expand or buckle under extreme conditions. Our railway company based in Sao Paulo has proposed an innovative solution in response to this growing issue. The company plans to paint the tracks white, a measure designed to reflect sunlight and significantly reduce the amount of heat absorbed by the steel. This simple yet effective method aims to lower the temperature of the rails, helping to prevent deformation and ensuring safer travel for passengers. Now, at least 6 newborns have died in Gaza due to severe cold, according to Dr. Saeed Saleh of the Patients' Friends Benevolent Society Hospital. Over the past 2 weeks, 8 babies were admitted with cold-related injuries and 6 later died. Health officials urge mediators in the Israel-Hamas conflict to provide mobile homes and fuel deliveries for over 280,000 displaced families to protect them from freezing temperatures. The fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas continues, with both sides accusing each other of violations. Now, we got more stories for you after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Keep it on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Hi there and welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Protests marked the 39th anniversary of the EDSA People Power Revolution yesterday. Paolo Barcelon has the details.
Isaiah Crisanto is one of many college students who went to EDSA to celebrate the ouster of the dictator 39 years ago. He says young Filipinos should know their history, in this case, how people power changed the nation.
As students, our role should be to remember. We should remember the past. We should remember where we came from and the struggle we've had.
The Philippine Institute for Student Democracy says over 400 schools, colleges, and universities suspended classes or switched to asynchronous online learning on February 25th, and students from various schools trooped to EDSA from morning until early evening. Meanwhile, Carl brought with him a copy of We Forum dated February 25, 1986. We Forum is one of many publications dubbed the Mosquito Press during the martial law years. He wants to show the youth how history was covered during that time.
Yung mga libro sinulat daw noong panahon ni Cory o panahon ng mga Dilaw. Pakitignan ng petsa, February 25, 1986, pabagsak pa lang si Marcos niyan, 'di ba? And yung days before, kahit sabihin natin people power na, no, si Marcos pa rin ang nasa pwesto.
Students in the Visayas and Mindanao also held demonstrations, with students in Cebu marching from Fuente Osmeña to the city center and students in Davao joining other progressive groups in commemorating EDSA. Historians and those who took part in the 1986 revolt say these protests have one aim: to make people remember the spirit of EDSA.
Kaya laging relevant ang people power dahil ang people power ang nagpapaalala sa atin na kung magkakaisa tayo sa mabuting layunin, kaya natin na maharap ang lahat ng hamon.
Ang gusto lang naming mga lumaban dito sa EDSA People Power na to ay ang mga bata ituro yung tama. Walang revisionism sana.
Hindi pa tapos ang ating laban. Tuloy-tuloy nating ipapaalala sa mga kabataan na meron tayong walang katapusang pagbabago ng lipunan natin. Kahit anong administration, ipapatupad pa natin ang pagdiriwang ng ating anniversary.
The National Historical Commission of the Philippines says they intend to continue celebrations of the People Power Revolution regardless of who's in charge. But if you ask the people behind me, they would rather go to the streets and choose to never forget. Paolo Barcelon, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Now let's talk about some beauty tips, because UK beauty experts are calling it overdone fillers and big lips are out and natural looking procedures are in. Ahead of the Oscars night on March 2, Dr. Leah Totten, who owns 3 non-surgical clinics in the UK, says they're seeing a new trend in Hollywood. This trend veers away from overdone facelift and overuse of dermal fillers and into a more natural aesthetic. Totten says the most popular treatment remains to be Botox. Other popular treatments include Morpheus 8, a procedure that combines microneedling with radiofrequency. Another is polynucleotides, a product derived from the DNA of salmon sperm to help with cell regeneration and rejuvenation. Totten also reveals another Hollywood favorite, the M-Face, where clients are hooked to a machine with pads on their face and neck, allowing radio frequency and electrical current to stimulate their muscles. She says this gives an instant lift and chiseled look often seen on celebrities on red carpets. So you guys should have seen Paolo's face as I was reading this when I said salmon sperm. He said, no way. He was freaking out. Actually, our sponsor, Lift Clinic, Anne and I tried it. We did a diamond skin, which is they're like microneedling with salmon sperm, hyaluronic acid, and other stuff. It really helps.
Yeah.
And the trend is more natural.
I mean, after they did the treatment on me and Mo, I noticed really our skin, right? It was
glowing.
smoother. Yeah.
We'll take you there one day. You have to
You
go.
should try it. Yes.
Nope, I promise. That's what like the Kardashians do. Like everybody does salmon sperm. I think I read an article. They're farming.
And you said adapt,
like,
right, to the
salmon sperm.
times?
Exactly.
So adapt to the times.
And they're farming salmon sperm. That's the thing. That's the secret.
And you know, all they were showing it on screen, all the needles on the face. That is what we go through almost every week.
I hate needles, but tiis ganda.
Tiis ganda, it works.
No, I mean, I'm all about the natural aesthetic.
Yes.
Like, don't change, you just enhance. And
Exactly.
if you can do it, Pao, I promise that salmon sperm, it's a game changer.
Yes. And the Botox and the jaw
Okay, well, if you don't want to be foggy, edi wag.
Di na raw niya kailangan. Pogi na raw siya.
Yabang! Wow!
Literal, wala akong sinabi.
You're like me a while ago. Just absorbing.
Wala akong sinabi, like words in my mouth.
But we already know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
What?
I don't need any beauty
don't know,
stuff. I'm already foggy.
I don't need needles on my face.
Guys, you know,
say
sometimes
any of
Paolo
that.
walks in when he's feeling extra foggy. He'll walk in the makeup room. I'm foggy ko today. I'm like, yes, we need that confidence every day. I love it.
Mo, the stuff that happens off cam stays off cam.
No, it's just like Miss Catherine yesterday.
Anyway, Anne has to tell us more about Hollywood.
I know. Still on the topic.
Confidence
Mag-move on
is
na
key.
tayo, guys, kasi baka mag-away po itong dalawang partners ko. One of the oldest suppliers of diamonds, De Beers, sets the tone ahead of the Oscars on Sunday. De Beers says this year's It styles include bold statement earrings and necklaces. Sarah Paulson jumped on the look at this year's Golden Globes with her layered, bold line necklaces. De Beers is also seeing a trend of rough diamond necklaces, as seen on Zoe Saldana the past week.
What we see on the carpet more is that it's a statement, right? It's either a big statement earring or a big statement necklace, maybe with a ring. I think the smaller layered pieces, maybe in the smaller events, the more casual events, like the Spirit Awards. But for the Oscars, it's pretty much go big or go home.
The son of ultra-Bilyonaryo Ramon Ang is making his own mark in the business world as he unveils a unique cafe with a surprising main attraction. Our correspondent, G. Baroga, takes us inside.
Take the risk and go for it. That's the mantra Jacob Ang, son of ultra-Bilyonaryo Ramon Ang, followed when he took the plunge into his new bistro business. The cafe was originally meant to be a pop-up, but after seeing the buzz it generated and the car enthusiasts who showed up, Oliver's Coffee Bistro was born.
A year ago, we were like, hey Derek, why don't we plan something that caters to the car community? And what better way to build a branch a bit bigger, something to our liking, that's going to cater and to the car community and show car something unique. So yeah, literally just 1 year ago, we thought about it and we just said, you know what, let's take the risk and let's see what we can show and give to the clients.
The cafe, which had a soft opening last November, blends their passions for food, coffee, adventure, and of course, cars.
We've landed with Oliver's Coffee. It's a name that sounds foreign, but at the same time, you could really relate and see the dreamer in that name. Someone who aspires to be something more and push forward.
Derek adds that their menu is a reflection of their family's interests. He got into experimenting with coffee during the pandemic, calling their coffee menu a labor of love. As a true car guy who oversees Ferrari and BMW in the Philippines, Jacob Ang made sure to create a special spot in his cafe to showcase some of the brand's looks and fancy cars. Jacob says the turntable represents movement and innovation, and it's open to showcasing models from other car brands too, so fans can expect a rotating variety of cars.
As of now, I'm pretty sure that this is the only place in the country with a turntable where a car can go park there and go 360. So that people could really appreciate all the angles, all the curves of every single car that we display.
The young entrepreneurs are confident and well aware of the competitive nature of the business world.
For you to survive in this business landscape wherein everyone's very competitive and everyone shares the same passion, you really have to take the leap of faith sometimes to sort of, because I'm going to take this from your book.
Yeah.
You never know till you try.
You may have some steps where you make a mistake, so you just take one step back but 2 steps forward, right? So with that in mind, that's how we deal with our business and our future ventures.
Looking ahead, Jacob and Derek are already planning to open more branches in the metro, with more turntables to showcase even more cars. For BNC Mobility, G. Baroga.
And that is it for us this Wednesday, February 26. I'm Paolo del Rosario reminding you to always stay humble and never think too much about yourself. Thank you very much for joining us.
I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Thank you so much for making us your daily morning habit. And wherever this day takes you, don't forget to choose joy, bring your own sunshine, and spread fogginess like Paolo.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. I hope you guys have a great Wednesday ahead. And don't forget, know yourself, know your worth, and be confident, just like Paolo and all of us here. Join us again tomorrow at 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. only here on...
It's a beautiful day!